Okay, hi everyone. This is Cecilia Hodde, and I'm finally getting around to doing my presentation on differentiation in the classroom. So the first thing I want to do is give you the definition of what differentiation is. Differentiation means that teachers tailor instruction to meet individual needs of their students. This differentiation can be done in a lot of different ways, such as through the content, through the processes, through the products or what students create for you, and most assuredly in the learning environment or your classroom. The use of ongoing assessment and flexible grouping makes this a successful approach to instruction. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is tailoring the content. Content is what the student needs to learn or how the student will get access to the information. And this can be done in a varied amount of ways, but the most important way for me is technology. I like my students to use a lot of technology. I also like them to be able to investigate and research. It's important that they know how to ask questions and don't just accept information for face value. I insist that my students always inquire, and I always tell them that inquiry is not just for science, it's for every class, it's for your whole life. Don't just take everything at face value. And this leads to, finally, they must question. They must always question everything, and then they'll be great on their assessments. So tailoring the content does help learning. Next slide is technology usage. Every teacher uses computers, but let's face it, not every teacher gets all of the computers they need. I myself would love to have every student have their own iPad or their own computer. That would work great for me. But I have found, since I teach older students at middle school level, that most kids have cell phones or either iPods and access to computers. So I use those all the time. I will allow students to text me answers. I have cell phone and GPS and email scavenger hunts all the time, and the kids love it. But the technology used in your classroom needs to enhance learning and can, by definition, differentiate the instruction. Whether you use synthesizers, musical instruments, cameras, tablets, iPads, email, text message, Animoto films, or Screen-o-matic films, it's a way for students to express themselves different than everyone else. And since all my students are individuals, it kind of works out. When you introduce technology, it's important that you make sure first it fits the lesson, second it fits the students, and if it doesn't, then you need to orientate on them the procedures of this new technology and what you will or will not accept. And then once they've learned it and they feel comfortable with it, just let those kiddos fly. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is tailoring the processes that you use. Processes are the activities or the things that you do in your classrooms that keep students engaged and helps them master their content. And I found a lot of these, but these are the ones that I picked up on. I like centers and hands-on discovery, but you really have to watch and make sure that those centers and hands-on discoveries are age appropriate. And when you're tiering assignments, remember that you've got gifted kids in there, and if you're going to keep asking them to question, you need to give them some of those jumping off questions. So when you're tiering and chunking a project, you need to make sure that you're doing it so it's not so easy they're not learning anything. I myself love scavenger hunts, and Promethean Planet has tons of these that are downloadable, and they go all the way across the curriculum. I love I Spy Mysteries of Learning, and these can be found online, and a lot of the teacher websites have these, but you do have to look. And then, of course, there's always manipulatives, and some manipulatives that we don't even look at as manipulatives. They don't have to be expensive. They can be straws. They can be, anything kids can touch or handle. That kind of makes that learning real for them. And that's what's important, is that when we're tailoring the process, we also tailor it to our students and make it familiar, but not so familiar it's not, it doesn't engage them. The next thing I want to talk to you about is tailoring the products. And products are the culminating projects or what your students are going to hand in. And then just handing in a poster and standing up there and talking about it. Are they applying it? Are they extending it? What have they really learned? So make sure that when you're making rubrics that some of these have to be answered. I love to give students options, and they should always have options. If you've got a student who's not comfortable being writing things, let them do a PowerPoint, let them do a poster, let them write, create a document or a letter. Or kids love this one. I tried it last year and it worked out wonderful. Infomercials. I brought my laptop from home because it had a camera, and they just went to town on it, and they were so much fun. And you know what? When I looked around my room, all the kids were learning. All of them could remember the products, the reasons, the propaganda. It was so much fun. Let students work alone. Let them work in pairs. Learn to listen to your parents, or not parents, students. Make sure that if you use rubrics, that it's guided, that they understand how to use that rubric. I can remember as a young student getting a rubric for the first time, and I was like, really? I don't even understand the language this is written in. So make sure that it's language students are friendly with. And always, always, always encourage them to put their own twist on it and do it their own way, because when they do, believe it or not, they learn. The next thing is the environment, and this is so important. The environment in your classroom is how it feels and works to the students. So remember, even though you're a girly girl teacher and like pink and green, you're going to have some boys in there that pink and green isn't their favorite color. So make sure that your room is inviting, it's safe, well lit, materials are always accessible. Make sure that your routines and procedures are followed. And when they're not followed, nip it in the bud, because kids need that structure. Make sure that your room has quiet places, places where they can get rowdy, and that the seating's comfortable and the lighting's not too bright. And make sure that your environment is conducive to learning and collaboration, and keep students and staff and just everybody engaged, and they'll have a much better time. And these are easy ways to differentiate your teaching style and their learning styles, and make sure that every student has a vested ownership in the room as much as possible, and you will see the learning take off. Next slide is talking about the differentiating and teaching. And if you've been teaching for a while, man, this can be the hardest thing to do. But it's easy, 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 because your audience, your students are going to give you the information. So just simply ask them, what way do you like to learn? How do you like to learn? What makes you comfortable when you're learning? Then listen to them, observe them, and then change it to fit everyone, including you, because you've got to work there too. I guess differentiating and teaching should happen when everybody's aware of everyone else, and that's really what it's all about. Differentiation in your teaching style is going to optimally engage your students in learning. It's going to give them a safe place where they feel like they're invested in, where they can learn, they can inquire, and they can ask those questions they might not otherwise ask. So I guess differentiation is just that. Try and learn who your students are. Try and learn who you are, and then try and meld them together. Thanks for listening. Until next time, have a great day.